Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar today. So the subject of our webinar today is what's new in IDEA Statica version 2024. My name is Farshad Purshak. I am the Senior Technical Manager at GRAITEC for US and Canada. Let's go on with our slides. Okay, so let's have an overview of the main features that we have added to IDEA Statica connection design software for version 2024, which is already accessible right now to download and use. So, I will go through all of those new features in this webinar. So the first one is going to be the parametric templates in the connection library. We will talk about the enhancements in the sketches and reports, addition of new weld type, PJP Welds, addition of new hooked anchors for base plates. Now you can also have a new option to change the language of report, new operation to cut the plates in parallel planes when you're defining your plates, member extension tools, and finally, auto design of bolts for shear. So these are just the highlights of IDEA Statica's new 2024 version. Obviously, you can have, we have added more features that you can access from our website there. In addition of those, we have added also new features to UI, user interface, and licensing. So single sign-on option, error handling, new tooltips, and finally, keyboard shortcuts. So let's talk about the first feature, parametric templates in connection library. So as you know, if you have used our connection library, you already are able to define your customized templates and assign them to your new connections or new projects. So the tool that we have added here in this new version is, in addition to be able to select those templates here, now those templates and some of them are parametrics. So if you open the connection library, you will see even we have filters there. You can just filter the parametric connection types using this filter here. And if you assign these parametric templates to your connection, now you can very fast modify those parameters. So for example, here you see an example of a widener and stiffener. So this is parametrically defined, and here you have the parameters to basically modify those variables. And just changing one variable, it's gonna automatically adjust the other one. So you don't need to go and modify the operations one by one. So that's why it's called parametric. So for example, if you change the dimensioning of this widener or web widener, let's say you want to extend it here, the connection will be automatically parameterized and your stiffness also will automatically be adjusted in this scenario. And also we have other scenarios that you see here. So you also see the screenshots from here that automatically the stiffeners will be adjusted. So that is basically what we have for parametric templates. And just to let you know, you can also modify those parameters, add extra parameters to your templates using these tools. So the sketches in IDEA Statica, so we have had also massive improvements here. So this is like the old sketch that we had in IDEA Statica. So you see we are missing, or we were missing some dimensioning and details here. Now we are adding, and we have added all of those dimensions inside the drawings. And the good news is they are all modifiable. So as you see the dimensioning, the parameters regarding the bolts, the welds, etc., all of the annotations, you can modify them using this the tool that we have here. So, and just to remind you, the way that you can create these sections in IDEA Statica, you just go to that specific element, let's say way above the column, you right click, you will have the option of creating a section. Section will be created automatically. And then you can adjust the detail here in 3D. And after that, you will have a 2D drawing, as you see here, with all of those improvements. Again, you can add, remove the annotations, all of the detailing. And also another improvement that we have here is the overlapping of text will not happen, or lines will not happen, because IDEA Statica will automatically check that you can have a clean drawing. New type of PJP weld. So right now it is based on US codes. And if you remember in IDEA Statica before, we only had the fillet welds and butt weld option. Now we have added the PJP welds. As you see here, it is defined for edge to surface welds. You see the representation here. Software will automatically also check the resistance based on AEC code, and also we have the option of the drawing and the annotation for PJP welds when you're creating your sections or your drawings. Another addition in this new version is addition of L-shaped or hooked anchors when you're defining the base plate operation. So we had all of those before, and now we have this hook option that you will have full control on that. Again, this tool right now, it's based on the American codes, ACI code, but we are planning to also work on that and bring it for Canadian codes based on A23 as well. And also software is able to apply all of the required code checks in case you have defined these kind of anchors. Change the language of report. So what we had before in IDEA Statica, like we had just one option to modify the language of all interface. And the language of report was following the language of interface. So you had no options to have a different language than the interface when you are creating the report. Now you can have separate language selections for the UI user interface and also the report. So when you are creating the report, here we have added a new option which is called report language, and from here you can basically define a new language type for the report. This is very good for your clients that maybe they require a specific language for the reports and outputs than the language that you are using to create the model and use the software. So very useful option here. Again, this is for cutting of plates. So again, before what we had, you were able to cut the plates using the editor option or using the negative volume of members. But the problem there was you were limited to some very simplistic specified sections. But for example, you were not able to cut any plate, let's say, using a DXF import. Now you have this option. So now you can actually cut plate with a plate which is imported from a DXF. So look at this shape here. It's very complicated. And before it was almost impossible to create this shape of plate. Now you can just import that plate, let's say from DXF files, and using the negative volume, you can just deduct it from the main plate, and you can end up having this shape or any other kind of plate shapes that you want to have in your model. Extending the member, new option here. So we have the check mark added here. So if you remember before, when you were cutting an element, because the member defined was that in the center line of column, either for connection tool or for the member tool, you were not able to extend this. You had to play with other parameters and extend it. But now with just one check mark, which is a part of the cut of member operation, you can ask the software to automatically extend the beam at the end or farther plane of your column. Basically, what you need to do, activate check mark, and as well, the cutting plane should be the farther one, so your beam will be automatically extended to the farther flange of the column. And this option works both in member application and as well in the connection tool. New option here, which is gonna again help you to have faster optimization of number of bolts in specific cases. So now IDEA Statica is able to give you or auto design basically your bolts in shear. and it's gonna based on the basically the workload ratio of the bolts in shear. You can define it. You can define the target utilization, for example, 90%, 100, etc. And the software will try to readjust the bolts here, either spacing and numbering of bolts to achieve that 90%. So if you are overstressed, like you see the example that you see here, let's say my bolts are 6.9% overstressed, using the auto design of bolts, software will automatically try to adjust like number of bolts and etc. to achieve that 90% or a load ratio which is very close to that 90%. So very useful tool. It's going to save you so much time automatically. It's going to be done. You don't need to go back to the operation, change number of bolts, run again. So it's very optimized and useful. Currently, it works for two kinds of operations. So the fin plate or shear plate operation, and as well for splices. Okay, so now let's talk a bit about the new UI and licensing enhancements in the software. So now we have the option for what they call the single sign-up. So before in other versions you had to have your own, username and password, but now you can have also sign on with either the Google account or also your Microsoft, so it can be linked to your IDEA Statica, which is going to help you with your assigning and managing your user base of let's say large companies or the people that they have several licensings or seats. They can just have their Google or Microsoft sign-in attached or linked to IDEA Statica sign-in. New error handling. So if you have an error in the software, now we have added these types of errors, which it's gonna give you an idea of why is error is happening, and as well it's gonna be linked automatically to the support center. If you click here, it's gonna basically provide you with more information, FAQs, ways to solve the issue, or etc. And obviously, if you cannot find your answer there, you can always also directly contact support. So this is a kind of like a first line to help you out with solving the problem very fast. New tooltips in new version. So I have some examples of those here. So these tooltips are clearly, basically, they're mentioning what each icon and operation will do. And on top of that, if you want to learn about those operations more, here at the bottom, we are linking these icons to our support page on the website. So you can just click there and it's going to be linked into a link linked to the related article in our website, which is going to give you more examples and explanations on that specific tool. This is also a very handy tool that we have added, multi-select and multi-edit. So if you remember, before you were not able to select or modify several operations. You had to go one by one, either if you wanted to edit them. Now, just using holding the control key or combination of control and shift, you are able to select several operations, and if they are similar, they have similar parameters, you can change all of the parameters at once. It's going to be much more faster, especially for larger models. Let's say when you have like 20, 30, 40 different operations in the list. And finally, new our keyboard shortcuts have added in IDEA Statica, which follows the common, commonly used shortcuts in familiar structural engineering software. So basically, you see them here: Control S, Control Z, undo, Control Y, redo, open a project, Control O, and Control N to create a new project, and F2 to rename the item. So this also will help you to do faster modeling. Okay, great. So I went through these main highlights here. So what we can do now, I can show some of them live in the software, so we can go through some of them. Okay, let's jump into IDEA Statica. Okay, I have opened the IDEA Statica connection module. And the first feature that I would like to show you here is going to be our parametric template. So to start with that, as you see, I've selected Canadian code, and I can actually start from one of these simplistic templates without operations. And now we can apply our template from our library. So it's going to be on propose. And here, as you see, we have added the parametric type of connections here, and you see the P here. So you can go and select one of those which are predefined, or as I mentioned earlier, you can also define your own predefined parametric connections. So you can also filter with that. So there you go. You can select, for example, in this example, I can just use this template, the parametric template. Click OK. So you can assign the members if you want. I will keep everything as default and click OK. And the template will be applied. So because it is a parametric template, I will have the option to actually parametrically modify my connection properties. To do that, you can go to operations here, click on that, and here, as you see, you have the parameters to modify those values. Okay, so for example, if I want to make this widener a bit longer, I can go here and let's change this value, let's say to 10 inches. And as you see, it's going to automatically extend the widener, and also it's going to automatically move my stiffener. So as you see, everything will follow, or even I can change the other dimension. Let's say we define this like 15 inches and click enter. And as you see, it's automatically modifying my operations based on the just one parameter that I am changing in this specific template. The second feature that we have here, obviously we talked about the sketches, and I can show it to you actually on this model. So to get a sketch from this connection, as you know, you can just go to the plate or member of the plate that you have in the model. There you go. So now I have the section, and as you see, if you compare this drawing with older versions of our IDEA Statica, you will see that this drawing is much more cleaner and it has more details. So all of the weld sizing, the dimensions of plates, etc. And as you know, you can also, using this option, you can modify the drawing as you see here. So I can make it smaller, control the drawing dimension, drawing sizes, and details that we want to see in this sketch. So you can go to the 2D view as you see here. And the other option that we can use here, again, it's a new feature, is that you can actually remove or add extra details from your drawing. Okay, so for example, if I drop this down, you will see that here I have control on removing or adding the dimensions from the drawing. You can remove or add the plate dimensions and plate annotations. This is going to be for bolts. Well, in this model, I don't have a bolt, but you have control on that. Also, you can remove or add the weld annotations, as you see here, from the sketches. So up to this level, we have these controls on our sketches. So, and also, if you want to remove the sketch, you can just delete here, and it's going to be deleted, as you see. Okay, so the other option was new PJP welds, which again, I'm able to show that kind of weld here for just to keep it simple. So we don't have it for Canadian code. It's going to be based on US codes, okay? So just to show you, we can just go and probably I can select another model. US codes, correct, yeah, okay. So we selected US codes. Now I can change them again. Let's go there, partial. Here as well, it's going to be PJP. I have already loads, so let's run the analysis. Okay, and I can go to results, and we can see that in our welds, also our PJP welds will be checked here. So it's here, and if I open the calculation notes, you will see that it is already calculated. Okay, great. So the other feature that I would like to show you here is gonna be our new J or hook shape anchors on base plates. So I can actually open a new model. So let's go and open a simple template for a base plate. Create project. Okay. And when you are defining base plate, if you remember here, I can select my type of anchors. Okay, so here in this option we have anchor type. By default it's straight, and now as you see we also have added the hooks. You can just click there, and you have full control here for the dimensioning of those hooks or L shapes. And now we can also run the analysis on this just to make sure that software will consider those. And as you see here, it is considering those. It's doing design, and I have some of the anchors that they are not passing. Changing language of support. The other new feature in IDEA Statica 2024. Very simple. As you see, my interface is English now, but let's assume I want to create a report in French language. Okay, so if you go to report here, and now here we have the new option, report language. I can go there. We can select, let's say French. Okay, and I can click on generate. So now my report will be created in French language, as you see here. Okay, great. So the other option that I would like to show you here is the option to cutting of plates by plates. Okay, so this is also a new option. So let me go back and have a new option, new model. Okay, we can start with a new project. Click OK. Okay, so I can just to keep it simple, I can add. Let's add a member first. Okay, say a W section, so it doesn't matter in this case. Let's say now I'm gonna add a plate. This is the shape of the plate, and also I can add another plate, which I'm gonna be using this to cut the other one. Okay, so I can actually shift this second plate a bit farther. Okay, actually let's do it like this so you can view it easier, and probably a smaller value, 6 inches. Okay, so let's say I want to cut this plate using this plate. Okay, so to do that, now we can go to the operations, cut of plate. Okay, to cut the SP1 plate, I can select the SP1 as my main and select the second plate, SP2, as my second plate. And here we can have the option to cut that plate. Let's go to this view. And as you see here, my the SP1 plate is already cut using this plate. Okay, so it's gonna help us to create even much more complicated shapes. So for example, you can import this plate shape from DXF. It can be a very complicated shape, and use this new operation to cut the main plate in another shape. Okay. Okay. The other option or new feature is the auto design of bolts in shear. So let's go back and select another template here. And for that, probably, yes, I can go with this fin plate operation, which the bolts are in shear. Let's create it. Okay. So now what we can do here, let's say I can go and change the number of bolts here. So let's use less bolts. So it's going to be very easy. You can actually go there. And now I have like just 2 bolts. So we can run the analysis. So calculate. And as you see, the bolts are passing. So what we can do now is adding more loads to this connection. So these bolts will not pass. So let's go there. And here in my shear applied, which is around minus 18 kips, let's add another like extra shear here. Let's go with 40 kips and see if the bolts are going to pass or not. Okay, now the bolts are not passing, and as you see here, they are on 101. Now I can actually use the new tool to optimize or ask the software to provide me with auto design of these shear bolts, which is going to be like very simple. You go to the operation fin plate, okay, and here you have the auto design of bolt option. I will click on that, and now as you see, it's going to automatically add those bolts, okay. And if I run again, you will see that now the bolts are passing, okay. So automatically we changed all of those bolts. Actually, software changed all of those. So there are ways to control those variation, the load ratio, etc. So it's going to be through settings here and design, and here you can actually assign the values that you have you want to have as target utilization. So software will try its best to achieve those numbers. So currently this operation works only for these fin plates and splice connections, but we are also working on that to actually bring this tool or new feature for other types of operations. And finally, what I would like to also show you is obviously the new tooltips that you see here. For example, when I put my mouse on that, you have the learn more option here, which is going to show up. You click on that and it's going to bring you to the related web page that you can get more information. So all of we have those. So as you see here, for example, for loads and others if needed. And finally, the other nice addition is selecting or multi-selecting the operations here. So before, if you remember, we were just able to just select one operation, but now I can actually select 2 welds all together, and here I can actually modify both of them. Okay, so for example, if you want to change the weld side or weld shape here, I can just simply go and click here, and both of them will be changed. Okay, let's go back to our slides, and we can continue there. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you learned some new features that we have added to IDEA Statica 2024, and I hope these new features will help you to create your models easier and help you in your workflows. So again, for any kind of information, or if you want to request a trial version, don't hesitate to contact us at the email address that you see here, support.canada@graitec.com. And now I can answer the questions if we have any questions, and don't hesitate to type your questions in the chat tool of the interface, and I will be answering them. Thank you very much.